Beautiful sunlit afternoon here at Wilderspool, and not a bad crowd for this last major game at this old stadium. The new one just across town, looking very smart and ready for action. Here is Andy Lynch, and surely he is one for the future. The Castleford forward, the Tigers Player of the Year. Oh, Lachlan just held on to that. That's a reception committee there from the French, with Barthez and Weigeffer leading the way. Gareth Hock, Young Player of the Year, bounces off one tackle, brought down on the halfway line. And there is Danny Maguire with the kick.
And I'd say they'd be pretty happy with that to start the game. They've held control of the ball despite some strong French defence. They've got the kick in and a solid line to chase it up. That's about as well as you would hope to start a big representative match.
Foucade Abbas with the darting run. He's a very pacey winger. Good feet. We're going to have to keep an eye on him or England, eh?
It's good technique there, especially by Danny Tickle. Just look how long they've taken to complete that tackle. It's given the defenders a chance to get back inside with the referee and get up quickly on the next runner, Faumina.
It's also left the man who was tackled, Fabrice Estebanez, just hobbling slightly. Here's John Weigeffer. Julien Rinaldi puts a kick in, turns Mark Calderwood around. That's going to be too strong, is it? Well, Calderwood, confident that it was, just let that one run. Calderwood, well, he's caught one or two teams this year with that quick tap, but he didn't take it from the right place, and Carl Kirkpatrick brought him all the way back.
It's a pity that rule change doesn't really suit him, Mark Calderwood, as he's a player who loves to play at full speed. And he's got some speed too. If he can get through some gap, he'll be a real threat if he can find some space this afternoon. Again, Andy Lynch, a very strong performer against the Australian side just a few weeks ago. Again, he's off into support, good offload.
And Lynch once more. Tackle just inside the French half. Diskin and Rob Burrow. David Barthez with the tackle. They come down the short side. Maguire fires the ball out to Gardner. Gardner is clear. He's got the man inside him. And Gareth Hock will get the first try of the game for England A. Lovely, incisive break from England. Danny Maguire, meanwhile, just in back play, hobbling. But Gareth Hock was there in support to finish that one off for England.
It's a great play. They've attacked the short side, they've had the numbers, but good footwork there from Gardner to get inside his man, draw the fullback. Superb support there from Gareth Hock to come around and make the kick a bit easy. That's a very strong and confident start for the English side. Maguire just runs at the defence and then thinks, look, Gardner's got good footwork, give him the ball, give him some space and see what he can do one-on-one. Gets inside his man. Great start there for England there and Gareth Hock.
Has a really good season, Gareth Hock, with Wigan. I mentioned he got the Young Player of the Year award at the Man of Steel dinner. Had a fantastic run-in as well for his club, appearing in the last 20 games, including the grand final. And he has come good, and still only 20 years old. And his club colleague, Danny Tickle, will surely add 2 more points from virtually bang in front of the posts. Bit of a breeze swirling around this ground, but really is a great afternoon. And Tickle, who kicked 38 goals during the Super League season, that's another one in this European nations competition, and England lead by 6 points to 0.
And the French side really did everything they could, Bill. They got back, they were numbered up correctly against the England air side, and really just the individual evasive skill of Eddie Gardner that got inside his man Van Sneek and created the opportunity. Such little room to work on, but maybe that's when Eddie Gardner's at his best. Tucked into a tight corner, great fast feet and get away from his man.
Here's Rob Parker. And Parker on the charge. Let's get early news from the sidelines with Chris Warren. No Chris at the moment. It's probably disappeared into the undergrowth here. The grass very long at Wilderspool.
That will really upset the handling error there from England. will really upset John Keir and Paul Cullen there. You want to complete your sets when coming away from trouble and get to the kick with a strong wind behind them. And a handling error inside their own half now invites France to attack for the first time in this game.
Release! Hold the line! Wait!
So here's Barthez, Rinaldi now. Push the ball wide to Laurent Carrasco. Carrasco just flips it out the back and Freddy Bonke picks that one up.
Second phase French possession is dangerous to have to play against, and England want to try and clamp the ball to prevent those offloads.
Barthez goes on his own. 4 tackles gone. And here's Pascal Jeanpi, the captain. He's well tackled by Rob Burrow. On the last now, Barthez. Rinaldi will put the crossfield kick in. And that one's gone forwards. Yep.
Forward pass.
Laurent Fresinier was there, but it drifted forward, and that'll be the turnover.
A bit of hope there for the French side too, isn't it? They've managed to get a good kick in. Enough English white jerseys in the frame there to think whatever threat there was they could deal with. There's some dummy half runs here again from Reardon. Impressed with the French defence though, good effort early on from them.
Stuart Reardon, the man tackled there. And we found Chris Warren in the undergrowth. I think they lost the lawnmower here, you know, or they've taken it up the road to the new stadium. Anyway, Chris is on the sidelines.
Bill, I'm glad you mentioned that. I have emerged from the undergrowth, and they're the conditions I was going to talk about. I mean, it's not wet. It's a glorious afternoon here at Wilderspool, but the length of this grass is just quite amazing. If you put your cattle out to graze on this for a couple of weeks, they'd come back very healthy indeed. I spoke to John Keir before the match. It's anything but the conditions we saw at the KC Stadium, not just the atmosphere, but the length of the grass. It was like a very fast bowling green at the KC. This is very, very slow, and John Keir hoped to have a more speedy surface for his flyers to speed across. So not wet conditions, but very slow conditions, favouring the French.
And the French in a good position at the moment. It was a good run from Pascal Jeanpi, and the England defence having to number up just now. Fresinier taken, and now it's Freddy Bonke. Bonke, that was forward, surely.
And the referee's seen it.
That's borderline. That flopping's borderline.
Referee just having a word with Gareth Hawke, saying he's flopping on the tackle a little late, but you saw the pass there. I suppose you'd compliment the English defence, Bill. They were all in position. There wasn't a problem in terms of an overlap, but the most worrying aspect is the last 2 times they've had the ball, they've dropped it inside their own half. And hence the reason I think they've kicked earlier this time.
Well, Maguire's put a big kick in, and Calderwood is chasing that one. And the French coming across, and Calderwood has won the race. He's going to win the touchdown as well, I think. Just gets there in time, and Calderwood has done it again. He really is like a whippet when they set him free. And the French were caught cold there. Well, the Super League opponents are wise to that, but he had the French really turned around there. Maguire's kick, and Calderwood using his pace to beat the French cover.
Well, there's no substitute for speed, and that's exactly what Mark Calderwood's got. Compliment the kick though, really. He's got around the back of a Bass, he's put pressure on him. Both of the French defenders know they're in trouble because of his speed, and great skill to kick the ball on whilst running at that pace and control it in the in-goal area. This is a great try. Wonderful individual skill here and speed of Calderwood, not only to get in the frame, but to kick it on gently enough for it to roll just into the in-goal area and then control it. Nobody else within 10 metres of him. Wonderful try to Mark Calderwood. Got England out of a spot of trouble near their own line.
So Danny Tickle with another formality. He's going to be very happy with his try scorers at this rate. 2 more points for Danny Tickle, 2 more for England, 12-0 up already. And Calderwood, Super League's top try scorer, 19 tries this season, and he's had a pretty good European Championship as well, a hat-trick. And John Keir will be pleased with this performance as well, a hat-trick against Russia in the opening game in the competition. And a Yorkshire origin player as well. Had a very good season, Mark Calderwood.
Yeah, talking about the conditions here, there does seem to be a bit of a wind behind the English side, and you mentioned the fact the grass hadn't been cut for a while. It probably just helped Mark Calderwood, otherwise that ball would have rolled over the dead ball line. It sat up nicely for him.
Carl Kirkpatrick showing off his grasp of French, just keeping the French players on side.
Good tackle there from the French number 9, Barthez. Good leg drive on Hawke. on Tickle rather.
Beat.
Andy Lynch with a driving run for England A.
Cut. Dewey. Dewey.
Diskin was the player tackled. And now Sean O'Loughlin puts a deep kick in. And that's, I think, going to be too deep. Yep. Really did carry on the wind, that one.
I don't think that'll mind the English side. They like to get down here now and put the French team under some pressure, carrying the ball forward. Try and force an error here on impact.
Okay. Takes the ball up for France. 29 years old, Freddie Bonke, seems to have been around for ages.
To release. To me, fellas.
Interesting to see here, Bill, whether the English side, after their experience of playing against Australia, the speed of their line in defence doesn't move up quicker now that they've played at that higher level, at the higher speed and intensity.
Well, they have done a lot of training with Great Britain, as Phil will know. At their
To me, fellas.
training camps during the week, and provided very useful opposition on the practice ground, I'm sure.
Well, not just useful opposition, I think it was good experience for them here.
Oh, dear.
Mistake there from Pascal Jean-Pi.
And the French captain not pleased with the service there, but I don't think there was anybody else to blame for that knock on.
No, I think Pascal knows he should catch those sort of passes in this match.
Come on, Andy. Let's go.
Reardon, grand final try scorer and man of the match to boot, and fantastic end of the season for the Bradford Bulls player. Here's Rob Burrow. Burrow, Briscoe, Diskin, 2 tries last week against Wales, and Burrow is away, and he will score a 3rd try for England.
Brilliant try. Brilliant try by Rob Burrow, though. That whole set play contained so many different options that were so good to watch. First the Reardon take it in from the scrum. And there was a bit of deception to make the look that they would carry on going wide the way they came, but they didn't. They came back to the short side, caught 1 or 2 French defenders just in the wrong place. Abbas outnumbered. He had a 2v1 situation, and Diskin looked inside to Burrow for a great supporting try. That's brilliant play by the English side there. Good set move from the scrum. Briscoe chimed into the line at the right time, and Diskin took the ball and offloaded to Burrow for another good English try.
Rob Burrow has been ever present in this European nations competition. In fact, for England A throughout the autumn.
Stop.
2 tries against Russia in that 102-0 massacre at Odsal. So this one a trickier option for Danny Tickle. He's got the wind at his back. He'll be just looking to hang this one up, maybe. Drift it in on the breeze that's gusting down the ground. Oh, and just inside the post there.
Keep them tidy in defence.
But England off to a great start, 16-0 up already.
You see the 2 French jerseys there, 7 and 5. They're in trouble straight away because they're running across the field towards the touch, and it's so difficult to make a tackle in that position. And then as they play on, not only is there a 3v2, but he's able to get inside his man. Abbas couldn't do much then in that position, and Burrow takes the try very gratefully from his Leeds teammate.
So the French really are up against it now. To be fair, they are missing several of their senior players, notably Warrington's Jerome Guisset, who's on the touchlines here.
Good hit there, Bill, from Primal. A few of the forwards having a go, but strong run there. You're in trouble when the side are coming away from their own line so easily as that with that run from Tickle. Oh, handling error again there now.
Well, that was right in Andy Lynch's face, though. I don't think he'll have been very grateful for the pass.
Sometimes you see more handling errors when the wind is behind you, because at the last minute it's just taken away from you. I don't want to make excuses for them. Got to be able to take the passes, whatever the wind at this level. And that's 3 times now coming away from the line in kick situations. They've come up with the handling errors.
That's Marc Famana with the drive for France, and England are caught offside. Danny Tickle, the man pulled out by Carl Kirkpatrick, and France get an opportunity to get points on the board at least. No, they're going to go for bust. Here's John Weigerfer.
That's one. Back with me to the line.
Tackle
Pull
from Martin
the line.
Aspinwall. Bartezen.
Two release.
And here's Laurent Fraisignou. Fraisignou to Rinaldi. Rinaldi. Good ball, picks out Teddy Sadoui.
Great defence, so by Reardon.
Foucaud Abbas goes across the field. Sorry, Phil. But Abbas has lost ground. Now he's making ground.
Four. Leave him, Sean.
4 tackles gone. Bartezen. Rinaldi. Fraisignou. Bonke out wide. Oh, and Van Schnick couldn't take it. The ball's gone backwards.
Well, the one thing the French side will do, they'll move the ball around when they get near line and ask a few questions. Here's the high kick, crossfield kick.
Bonke hoists that one. There's 3 England players under it now. Then as the Frenchman got to that one,
Just have a look at the,
there were 2 of them going for it. Teddy Sadoui was there as well. Laurent Carrasco.
From where we're watching this, I think this will be a try to Teddy Sadoui. His right hand gets to the ball. If not, it'll be a knock on over the line. All the players seem to be onside from the kick. Yeah, that's not a problem. Matt Diskin's trying to get up there, you see, in the number 9 jersey, put him under some pressure. Great kick into the in-goal area, and Briscoe, you see, just stood near the post, makes up a lot of ground to get across the field, but confusion, and all 3 of the English players go for the ball. It's patted backwards, and Teddy Sadoui, yes, try to the French side. I don't think it comes off the number 4. It won't be a knock-on against Teddy, but it will be a try. No doubt for that.
Just a fingertip touch from Teddy Sadoui, the 20-year-old Carcassonne centre. And that's got the first points for France, we reckon. It's up to video ref Steve Cross, and he thinks that Teddy Sadoui got the touch, and that'll do. So Freddie Bonke, the architect, and a newcomer to the side, Teddy Sadoui.
Well, you can look at the English players here, Bill, and you can be critical of them for maybe all going for the ball, but the problem comes about because they drop possession when trying to clear their line in an exit set, really. Coming away from their own try line, they came up with a handling error again, and it's put the side under pressure. Pressure from that kick results in a try to France, and it gets them back into the game with a bit of confidence.
John Keir will be disappointed because that whole pressure came after an England error, spilling the ball, and it cost them dear. And Laurent Fraisignou will try and improve on that. Another of the more experienced members of this French side. But he's got a gusting wind into his face. But just delicate chip, and Laurent Fraisignou has added the extras. England A16, France 6.
Yeah, the England defence on their own try line had looked very strong for 5 tackles. Gilles Dumas, the French coach, will be happy now. Bit of points, bit of enthusiasm, a bit of confidence that the French side needed. Just think really with the tries that England have scored against them, 1 or 2 of the heads maybe just starting to drop, Bill. Not now with the try. Let's just see how they respond here now in this series of possession. It's a high kick and some of the England players will get under this.
But well read by Laurent Fraisignou. Gilles Dumas, who you saw just a moment ago, will be pleased with the comeback from his side. There's Mark Faimana, and York fans will remember Mark Faimana from the late 80s. I think he was a York player in the days of Tawarin Nicow and Dave Watson. Well, we've got Phil Clark up here in the commentary box. That must mean that Sean McRae's somewhere. He's down on the sideline. Sean, what do you make of it so far?
Yeah, thanks, Bill. I think it's been a very impressive start by the England A team. One thing's for sure, they've certainly got the skill factor, and I think they've got the foot speed factor over the French side. One thing they've got to be very, very conscious of is completing their sets. When you get away to a good start, like the A.D. Gardner try and then the Mark Calderwood try, followed up by the Rob Burrow try, there's a tendency to go into your shell a little bit and think we only need to have possessions and we're going to score at will. You've got to remember, you've got to make your tackles. I'd like to see them lift their intensity in defence a little bit and that'll provide a better platform for them when they have got the football. The other thing, of course, is to complete their sets. Phil Clark got it right before by saying the turnovers in their own red zone had put them under a lot of pressure. There's no need for that. You don't need to be put under that sort of pressure. If you can just get out, get a good kick chase in, they can put the French side under pressure, and you know, they're looking very dangerous. Every time they've got the football, they look like something's going to happen. The French...
Sorry, Sean, carry on.
The French side, to me, Bill, just look like they're going to be capable of coming up with something if they're given some possession inside the 20 or 30 metre zone of the England A team, but I'm not sure they've got that ability to run 80 metre, 70 metre tries in, so they're going to have to work extremely hard defensively to shut England A out.
They're going to have to work hard defensively now, because that knock-on from Michael van Schnick has turned the ball over, and that's a great response by the French, a one-on-one tackle, and Freddie Bonquet has come up with it. It was Stuart Reardon who had possession, but not for long.
Great tackle by Freddie Bonquet, and he needed it too. They were under pressure on their line. Good angle that Reardon ran, but I suppose you've got to compliment the strength and technique in that tackle by Bonquet. One of the players here now, Abbas there now, they're looking just to get away from their own try line. The English side are controlling the speed of the French play the ball, but again, as Sean McRae said, we'd like to see the speed of the defensive line moving up as quickly as possible. It's dangerous sometimes when you play rugby league to just drop down to your opponent's intensity and speed, and the English side must focus on not doing that.
Laurent Carrasco, the man tackled, had a couple of months with the Bradford Bulls a couple of years ago. Just playing in the Alliance side there. Good work from Sean Briscoe. He deputised so capably at Wigan when Chris Rudlinski was out injured for a long spell. Beg your pardon, it's Farmina with the tackle, and Vaigafar was there as well, the two Samoans in this French side. Here's Rob Parker. Parker trying to burst through a gap, but Pascal Jeanpi with the tackle. O'Loughlin puts the kick in. I think that one's going to be too strong. Oh, what a wicked bounce! And
it's a great kick again, Bill. Now look, they've won a repeated set. That's the patience, I think, that Sean McRae as well has spoken about. They just can't think they're going to score every time they get the ball. Want to build pressure now on the French side. Just play as much of the game as they can down this end, and it's at this stage in the game now, after 20 minutes, one or two of the players just feeling a little tired. It's been a tough opening start. They've had to do a lot of defence, the French side, and now with a goal line dropout, they'll have to do another 60 seconds if they're to prevent a try.
And that's a scuff dropout from Freddie Bonquet. Doesn't really get much distance. Beg your pardon, and Tickle picks it up, only about 30 metres out. And Danny Sculthorpe comes off the bench to add his strength. He's lost the ball though, and it's been picked up by Teddy Sadoui, the try scorer. And,
I think Matt Diskin is down. Matt Diskin's just caught Danny Tickle.
Well, both players are up on their feet, thankfully, but there is Tickle, but John Keir will not be pleased. He won't be pleased with that either, because Gareth Hock has conceded the penalty, and he'd been warned earlier on just for... Well, earlier on it was for a flop, but there he's just lying on in the tackle.
Well, I think he was trying to get him turned over, wasn't he, onto his back, and to win that collision, win that impact battle that goes on there. That little wrestling match that you see players taking part in every time they're involved in a tackle, more or less in the middle of the field there. You see it, the 11 there. Tickle just spun the French guy, spun him on his back, and just won an extra second, which gives his own teammates a chance to get back to the referee and get set before they have to come forward.
Bartezen, Rinaldi, here is Freddie Bonquet. Bonquet back on the inside, and another knock-on. This time, Teddy Sadoui, the culprit. The pass really was a think in his face. Yeah.
One or too many handling errors, really, we'd like to see, I suppose, at this level.
Well, as you can see, England have committed more of them, and that'll be something that will be noted by their coach. Very experienced coach, John Keir, of course. But France having the edge in terms of possession, haven't been able to do an awful lot with it apart from that try. Diskin,
that's
Parker.
Good run from Diskin there. When you see the acting halfback get out, commit the two markers towards him and put a player into the hole behind the player, the ball from the back of that, you always make ground and you always make a break.
And it was a great ball from Hock to Briscoe and Burrow now will finish off right under the posts, and that was a lightning strike from this England side.
Well, it might sound strange here, there's so much skill went into that try, but Parker and Diskin deserve some credit for it, because their play and the speed of their play of the ball gave the opportunity to the players to show their skills on the back of it. Burrow, good footwork there from Maguire, quick pass back from Hawk to Briscoe, great support play, and we've seen him throughout the last 12 months, a dangerous player when he backs up on the inside. He started to move with the first pass and he stays alive. That's one of the beauties of Rob Burrow, is a willingness and ability to stay alive, sense the opportunity to support on the inside and come up with a 4 points, which will most definitely be converted to another 6. Good quick hands from Hawk. That's good play. We've seen the skills on show here now from the English side. We just need a little more composure in completing their sets, and John Keel will be a happier man if we get to half-time doing that. But great play, good support. Briscoe, much as Chris Radlinski does for Wigan, there when he needed to offload to Burrow.
And while you were seeing that, Danny Tickle did add the extras. A handling error this time by the French, and punished by England A. They now lead by 22 points to 6.
15. Not some of you speak English, I've just told you off in French.
Carl Kirkpatrick, you might have just heard him having a word with John Weigefer, who's just discovered that he speaks English, and he'd just given him a lecture in his best French. We've been practicing all week.
I think he wanted to know how long till half-time.
Come on, Dan, leave
Carl
it to me.
Kirkpatrick said, cans menu, 15 minutes, or didn't understand till he said it in English.
Yeah.
It's probably an indication of some of the French players just feeling the speed here now and again. Parker, he's been a strong player for them, taking it forward well, finds his front and gives a quick play of the ball to Diskin so many times.
Sculthorpe had Danny Maguire on his shoulder, but takes the tackle just inside the England half. It was Weigefer who made that tackle. Parker just had to adjust to take the ball, and another tackle from John Weigefer. Plays for the Limoux club in the French competition. That one's charged down, and Gardner will get a boot to it. And well picked up by Maguire. He's got options. One's inside him, and it's Gareth Hawk. And he will get the touchdown. Well, a fortuitous one for England. And the French saying that there was a forward pass in there, but Gareth Hawk gets his second try of the game.
Well, nothing really going for the French side at the moment. And they had a bit of luck with the rebound, the ricochet, tore it off through by Gardner, first to Maguire. He did well though, he stayed on his feet, stayed alive. Knew there'd be some support somewhere on the inside, and again, it was big, tall Gareth Hawk who easily walked round to the goalpost to put it down. Just a few question marks on whether this pass actually travels forward. Yeah, I think that's okay. Carl Kirkpatrick, you see, the referee stood perfectly in a position to judge that. And another try to the England air side on the back of a kick. And the last tackle, one or two of the French just feeling the heat at the moment.
Another formality for Danny Tickle. England lead by 28 points to 6. Great balance by Danny Maguire there, Phil. He has got phenomenal balance, hasn't he? Because when he went to pick that ball up, I mean, many a player would have fallen flat on their face, wouldn't they?
He did well to find the ball in the length of the grass, didn't he, first to get it up? But he has, yeah. He's got the skills. He's got a lot, Danny Maguire, to offer this game for the next 5, 10, maybe even 15 years. He's such a good player.
So the French struggling to stay with the pace of this game. It's been a long season for many of these players. They were involved in the Challenge Cup way back in January for their clubs.
I don't want to keep going on about Rob Parker, but the speed with which he comes on the ball is impressive. Hit the line well then. Martin Aspinall's not had a lot of ball out there on the left. He gave it to him early. Gone down the short side with Maguire.
Here's Adi Gardner, scored a memorable try for England A in that fabulous performance against Australia at Brentford last month. Maguire, Burrow just trying to find room for the kick, and he does so. Bonquet is underneath it.
They'll be disappointed. The chase is good, no lock in it, as they're always involved in the tackle on the back of a chase. But not the best kick from Rob Burrow. Got himself into a position where he was under a lot of pressure.
Rinaldi had nowhere to go. Here's Abbas coming in from the wing.
He's been a good worker for them, hasn't he, when they've needed somebody to get in there and give them a lift.
He's a strong character, Foucard Abbas. Plays for Saint-Gaudin, the side that lost in the French Championship final to Villeneuve.
Timing, les gars, timing, allez, 2 par 2.
Fraissignou puts a little chip kick in. That's a good one if it sits up. Oh, well read by Sean Briscoe. Burrow now, and can they turn this defence into attack? They're going to, and Calderwood, has he got the legs of Bonquet? A slip, ball in field, oh, and it's just retrieved, I think, by Freddie Bonquet. Desperate defence from the French there.
Goal line dropout.
They were lucky to get away with that, because it looked odds on that Mark Calderwood would go all the way there, but just lost his footing.
A lot of teams in sport talk about transition. It's the ability to change from attack to defence as quickly as possible, or vice versa. And in this case, it's England's transition there. As soon as they got the ball, they realised there'd be space out wide. They got the ball to Calderwood. He's got electrifying pace. The French side did well to stop him from scoring firstly. And as a result, though, a goal line dropout gives England another chance yet again to attack the French line.
A let off for the French then. But there's more punishment coming their way. Here is Tickle. Spots the gap and almost through it. Barthez with the tackle for France. Diskin. Here is Rob Parker. Parker for Burrow. Burrow for Maguire. Maguire for Aspinwall. Aspinwall shrugs off one defender. He's going to go all the way as the Wigan centre. And a slick attack from England there finishes with Martin Aspinwall getting his first try in this European Nations Championship.
Again, it's another try that I think will give John Kieran Portcullen a lot of pleasure here. Clearly they've worked on it to get the situation, an overlap on the outside to Aspinwall, with all the players going across towards the sideline. If you step back inside and wrong foot them, you should find some space to get over. That's what Aspinwall does. Realise all the blue jerseys are going to the right-hand side of the screen, steps back off his left foot and finds a way over the line.
Martin Aspinwall, another one who did a great job for Wigan this season of their youngsters. He missed only 2 games in their Super League campaign. And Paul Cullen down on the sidelines. He led, of course, England out here for this last major game at Wilderspool. It'll be onto the new stadium for the Warrington Wolves next year. And great hope for them after a fantastic season which culminated in them reaching the playoffs, where they lost to Danny Tickle and his Wigan side. Tickle adds, oh, I thought he'd kick that one. It just drifted across the face of the post. He's disappointed with that, but they won't be too unhappy with that scoreline of 32-6. And Sean, this is a very positive display from this England side, isn't it?
That's a good display, Bill. What you've got there is, I said earlier, it's the footwork and the foot speed of players. And when they get half a chance, look at the support come. I know Phil alluded there to a poor kick by Rob Burrow before, but the speed of the chase actually made the kick reasonable. And yet, on a lot of other occasions, you see a fullback return the ball maybe 15, 20 metres back. But they have got excellent speed and excellent support play, and they're really worrying the France side, who are showing signs of fatigue, and rightly so, because they've been starved of possession and they've been starved of field position. And England A are the ones with all the confidence at the moment, and you know, France are going to have to come up with something different to shut England A out for the remaining 7.5 minutes of the first half.
Once more, England threatening. Pascal Jeanpi making the tackle. Gone backwards. Rob Parker has earned a breather.
That's
Andy
been a
Lynch
good
is
effort,
one of the
that,
players
from
to
the
come
French
back on.
side, Bill. 5 minutes here now, 5 tackles rather they've made. And that's set from the kickoff, and they've contained the English side. That shows there's still some energy and enthusiasm left in the side. Little chip over the cop here for Briscoe.
And Briscoe will get that one on the bounce. He's got support from Diskin, and there are numbers there for England. Maguire, Lynch, and Lynch has got the strength to go all the way. And that is great from a prop, but... And I think Carl Kirkpatrick wants to know whether Sean Briscoe was onside, but Andy Lynch did a phenomenal job there for England. involved in the drive initially, and he was there to finish it off, but...
Well, they've brought the whole bag of tricks. Is he onside? It's a very, very close call here. It's a borderline decision. He's onside, Bill.
He's miles onside.
Miles, yeah, he's onside. Just behind the kicker. This is a try. I want to try too.
He had a great season in terms of try scoring in Super League, and he's got a try for England this afternoon as Andy Lynch. Castleford Tigers front rower. And he'll have enjoyed that one.
Well, whatever the opposition, you can't take away. This is a superb try here. The skills on show here, fantastic. Kick over the top here. Briscoe reads it so well. I mean, stay on side takes a firm amount of discipline from him firstly. Then he finds a man in support, Diskin. He's looking around, there's no panic. They know there's going to be supporting players. The strength from Lynch, a well-deserved try. And one I'm sure he'll want to put on his highlights tape. I'm sure many better where he runs than that.
A career best in terms of tries this season, with 7 for the Tigers and 1 now for England in this European Nations Cup competition. And another 2 points from Danny Tickle, and England heading towards half-time, leading by 38 points to 6. Well, his turn surely is going to come. John Keir must be very, very pleased. For the most part, I mean, it hasn't been a blemish-free performance from England.
That sounds strange, doesn't it? Even with a scoreboard as it is, there's still aspects that they'll want to improve on. A shorter kick this time from the French. And
nearly went out on the full. And it would have gone out on the full had Julien Rinaldi not got a hand to it. I suppose the scrum is slightly preferable to a penalty on halfway. Maguire, oh, great little step from Danny Maguire, and now he puts his foot down, and they just managed to cling on to him. It was Pierre Sabati with the tackle. Ian Sibbett with the run, gets a big cheer from the home supporters here at Warrington, one of their favourites. And then Danny Sculthorpe takes it up. About 10 metres out for England now. Lynch fancies another one, does he? The French finally managed to stop him. Diskin. Here's Burrow. O'Loughlin, little step from the captain, trying to get an arm free to unload that ball, and he does manage to unload it. Goes back to Reardon, but Reardon has lost ground and is eventually brought down by Rashid Hashish. Diskin puts a little chip kick in. That's an awkward one. Oh, Calderwood has got it.
Just check the ground in, please, Steve. I think the onside's okay.
And Carl Kirkpatrick is happy with the onside, he says, but not certain whether Mark Calderwood got that ball down cleanly.
Brilliant effort again from Mark Calderwood. Just got his desire here to get this ball. He's not bothered who the French player is. He's going to get over the top of him and get the ball. Did he catch it properly and score?
I think he lost control of that. It's Abbas who's in his way.
Well, it doesn't hit the ground, does it, Bill? It hits his back.
I think
it
it does
turns
hit
over.
the ground, Phil.
He's injured in the process as well.
Steve Cross is the video ref with the decision to make. And he's satisfied that Mark Calderwood has got his second try. He's suffered for his art as well as the Leeds winger, but it was a very, very wicked kick from his club colleague Matt Diskin. So Danny Tickle quickly finds himself lining up another conversion, and France really are getting steamrolled by this rampant England A side who are determined to banish some of the blues from last night at least.
Yeah, that's the case. Test here. Not too much importance, but what's his focus? What's his concentration like here as a kicker? If he needed this to kick to win the game, has he got it?
Again, looking to hang it on the wind, and it's a great conversion. Answers your question there, Phil. Danny Tickle kicks England into a 44-6 lead.
Yeah, I think all the French side thought that the player was going to go to the right-hand side of the field, instead back to the short side. Great desire there by Mark Calderwood. He's a wonderful winger. When he's in attack like that, he wants the ball, he gets the ball, and he gets the try. It's a strong finish here now in the first half of the England A team.
Matt Diskin has had a very impressive championship for England A. And they're coming again. Maguire once more. Acres of space out there now with Aspinwall. Gardner comes back in field. And the French struggling to get back to the mark, called out by Carl Kirkpatrick. VT's telling them, I don't think they're up to it. O'Loughlin, that ball behind, and Foucault Bass trying to get there, but well retrieved by Stuart Reardon.
Problem for the English side at the moment, they've got too many ways of breaking through the Blues defence. Here's a small chip over the top again.
Van Schnick has knocked that ball on.
Well, they can't seem to do anything right at the moment. Wasn't a massive amount of pressure there on Van Schnick. And it's hard to keep your side focused and play to the plan that you preferred for here when there are so many ways to score, whether it's down the middle, players going out wide, chip kicks over the top. Shown a variety of ways of getting through and over and round the Blues defenders.
Some more defending for the French to do with just about a minute or so left in this first 40 minutes. And they've spent most of this first half on the back foot. Sibbett with the run. Maguire fires the ball out to Gardner. Gardner again spinning infield, almost to the line. The Saints winger. Aspinwall. Burrow. O'Loughlin. He's lost possession, and the French will have it back. Gilles Dumas with a bit of work to do with his side. The longest serving international coach in the major rugby league nations, Gilles Dumas, and he really has had some tough work to do with the limited resources.
Well, they'll be helped slightly in the second half, I think, with a bit of a breeze behind them. I mean, when they kick the ball, they can clear the line a bit more. They're going wide here. They're always wanting to attack whenever there's a chance. It's a good strong run now. Again, when they take it forward, they've some powerful players who can get some metres. The side rolling forward.
But they haven't been going forward for a long time in this game. Here is their try scorer, Teddy Sadoué. And now with Pascal Jeanpi. Made his debut 10 years ago. He knows what it's like to be on the receiving end, and France are on the receiving end here at Wilderspool. A rampant England performance. Tries galore for John Keir's side. And European Championship has been contested, and England were the last winners of it in 1996. They're well on course to recapture this title as the second half gets underway, and Danny Maguire going for an unusual restart, which didn't come off. Mark Calderwood was the man chasing it, and the French at least will be looking to play with a bit of pride in the second half. That's certainly what their coach Gilles Dumas must be hoping for, because there wasn't an awful lot else for them in that first half.
Well, there were a lot of learning experiences, and we'll see what they've learned so quickly in that 40 minutes. They've had 10 or 15 minutes to regroup, think about what's just happened to them and what they can do to improve in this second half.
It's a good drive from Sébastien Azema there. And France starting this second half positively. It's the fifth tackle, Teddy Sadoué. And then the kick from Julien Rinaldi, former Wakefield Trinity player.
That's actually one of the best sets, isn't it? They've moved the ball around well. They've made the English defenders do some extra work than they'd like to do. They've put a good kick in and a strong chase here now. First Briscoe tackled as soon as he caught the ball, and Reardon stopped in his tracks. 3 tackles on England, still within their own 20 zone. Good start for France, and they needed it.
Danny Sculthorpe with a strong drive, but an equally strong greeting there from Rashid Hashish. And it certainly looks as though France have been given a bit of a G-up by their coach, Gilles Dumas. We'll find out from Chris Warren in a moment as Rob Burrow puts the kick in. And Abbas has time to gather that ball. Well, let's find out what was said. Here is Chris Warren.
Well, if you had any thoughts that England may put their foot off the accelerator, think again. They came out and they're full of enthusiasm. They want to go on with this match. And speaking to John Keir, he said, well, there's not a lot of room for improvement looking at that scoreline, but he wants to use the first half as a benchmark, use that as a comparison, and to go out equally as well in the second half. So drawing that, you'd have to expect them to finish with an 88-point scoreline for the England A team. In the French camp, obviously my knowledge of the French language is probably not as good as yours, Bill. I had the ear to the wall though, and you could hear the pride, you could hear the passion. Luckily though, my translator, Jerome Guisset, who's not out there, he did tell me that Gilles Dumas was talking, the one word was just enthusiasm, national pride. Let's go out there and give it everything we've got in the second half.
And they've certainly started this second half, Phil, as though they're trying to redeem themselves.
Exactly, Bill. We're 2.5 minutes into it, and they've been the better side in that 2.5 minutes. Great kicks again now, and to chase the enthusiasm. They really have started this game, this second half, so well. And it's a good test here now for the English side. He may be a bit shocked by how well France have started. Offload there from Sculthorpe. Reardon's in space.
Great offload from Danny Sculthorpe, and Stuart Reardon scooping that one up from his toes. And then they get the ball wide. That's great width that England have got there. Aspinwall brought down though by Sébastien Azema, one of several Carcassonne players in this French side. Burrow squinting into the sunlight, puts the kick in and finds a touch. Well, France forcing England to kick there, and again it's positive from the French.
Yeah, it's a pretty even start. The fact that the ball's gone out of play perhaps suits the French side more than the English one. You could probably play a continuous game with the speed and enthusiasm that they had in the first half, better than the French side. So this 30-second rest here just helps the French team to focus now. And important that there's no handling errors from them. Again, see now whether this English side, can they get up there and somehow with the impact force the ball out of these French jerseys, force a handling mistake and put them back into it. They don't want to be picking the ball up near their own line with one of their own players, Calderwood or whatever. Well, they're lucky there.
And they get the penalty. Pascal Jeanpi was the French player concerned, and Stuart Reardon was involved.
Can't see what Stuart Reardon did wrong. Anyway, Cal Kirkpatrick did. He's more important than me. Good hit there, Danny Tickle. Helped by Sean O'Loughlin. He stopped him dead in his tracks.
It's Rashid Hashish who went down. Frésigneau. Good hands from the French, and Freddie Bonquet has almost found a gap, but Danny Maguire brings him down. Never been one of the quickest players, Freddie Bonquet, and couldn't exploit the brief chink that was in the England armour there.
You said before the game, Bill, which French side would we see? Well, in the second half, a completely different one to the first 40 minutes. Good ball movement, good speed when they've taken the ball forward. And all of a sudden, the guys in the white jersey are having to do some real hard work in defence. Maguire goes low on Jeanpi, but he offloads. Hashish is held now on the last.
What's the kick like? Oh, a little cheeky one, but Laurent Frésigneau couldn't get
one of the
a boot
ones.
on that little cheeky kick.
Again, though, see the blue jerseys, they're moving in well, France here now. It's a good test here now. In the English side wants to put their hand up now and say, look, I'll take it forward. Some guys coming at me. Lynch does that.
They had it all their own way in the first half. Can they quell this French revolution? Here goes Danny Sculthorpe.
O'Loughlin really helped Sculthorpe there. Just by running alongside him, Bill, it took a player off him. He got a one-on-one. He's now won a penalty on the back of it. And those unselfish runs that O'Loughlin made are so rarely recognised, but so important to their teammates.
Rashid Hashish was penalised there because he was lying on, claiming that he couldn't get his arm out from underneath the tackle player. That's not the way that Carl Kirkpatrick saw it. And England back on attack with Andy Lynch. And the French desperately trying to slow things down, and I'm not sure Carl Kirkpatrick's going to allow them to get away with that for much longer. Maguire, short ball for Sibbett. How the Warrington supporters had loved one of their own guys to score here. But Sibbitt just short of the line. Diskin pops the ball up for Lynch. Lynch just went behind the man there. Just a little knock on.
Good defence again from France. All the guys got in the right holes. Stop the English attack. The offload there from Lynch. Too low for Sculthorpe to take. They managed to hold him out here.
Well, France have done all right at the start of this second half. Had almost 7 minutes of it, and England haven't managed to score.
Good yards again there now.
Wait.
The slow play of the ball gives the English players an opportunity to get up quickly here now. How have they done on that? O'Loughlin's in there again quickly. French side haven't made any ground on that play.
Here goes the captain.
Ooh, big hit there.
But he survived it. Almost takes his side to the halfway line. That's the 5th tackle.
Rob Purdom who's just come on, bumped down to the ground by Pascal Jean-Pi. And Rinaldi puts the kick over the top.
That's one for Abbas to chase, but Sean Briscoe is back there. And the French have got a strong Sun at their backs. If they wanted to, they could cause England 1 or 2 problems.
That must be one of Gilles Dumas' best ever half-time speeches, because the side have come out and played almost perfect rugby league, really. Kicked it well, they've moved the ball well, they've controlled it well. It's just how long they can carry on at this speed.
Well, don't forget, France managed to give Australia a good test when they called in there for a warm-up game in Carcassonne, only beaten 34-10. The ball is back with the French after a series of knock-ons there.
First knock on, England ball.
Brief spell of volleyball, and England will get head and feet at the scrum.
Good opportunity here now from this scrumsy. You've got some speed in your side, which the English side certainly have. Scrums offer perfect opportunities to attack your opponents. Obviously there's more space on the field.
Let's get form.
12 guys involved in a scrum in the middle of the field, so there's some space, and they'll look to exploit that here now. First to Reardon, he takes it centre field. In the first half, remember, Bill, they went back to the side that the scrum was from.
It's better defence from the French. It's Teddy Sadawi, the tackle on Reardon. And Weigefer brings down Rob Parker. Diskin, sniping run from Matt Diskin. First minute try against Wales last weekend. Here's Andy Lynch, and Carl Kirkpatrick just giving Matt Diskin a warning there, because Diskin was questioning a decision, or looking for a decision in his favour, and Carl Kirkpatrick warned him not to talk to him.
Freddie Bonquet did well there. I thought at first he'd missed it, but maybe it was intentional. Just covered over the ball.
Freddie will have played here a few times in his British career. Here he is now. He was man of the match in the French Championship final back in May for Villeneuve when they beat Saint-Gaudin. He's now returned to Carcassonne. The French season just about to get underway. And it's been a long old year for these French players. There's an error there by France, and they've spilled the ball.
Well, it was Hashish's last touch there now, the handling error. He's been taken off for a rest. Maybe that 10-minute period, they've been able to live with the intensity of the game, the French side, for 10 minutes. But the fatigue factor just setting in now. And those simple handling errors that look so easy on when you're watching on television, when your heart's beating through your chest, it's hard to hang on to the ball and you come up with what looks like a simple mistake.
And Reardon has skipped away from some defence there, and here is Parker looking to punish some more sloppy defending. He'll do that. He's got great feet for a prop, hasn't he?
He has. He manages to find the hole, find a quick play of the ball, and on the back of that, players like Lynch can set up there. Carries the ball in the left arm, always looking to, if he can, offload to a supporting player.
Sean O'Loughlin. Here's Sibbitt. Sibbitt, almost got the ball over the top, and France have got away. And Laurent Freysigneux is the man down the sidelines. He hasn't got the pace, though, and Burrow comes back. But a let-off for the French there. Bonquet, long ball out wide. Foucaud Abbas. Good work from the winger in terms of distance covered, but no forward movement.
A lot of east to west, but not a lot of north to south, you would say, wouldn't it? And that's where you've got to go.
And that Veigafaar does do that.
Need your players to run towards the try line as much as they can. Bonke now finds some space. It's an adventurous offload.
But big boot there. Oh, and eventually they have to knock the ball dead. Sean Briscoe it was. So this is a good spell for France. They're best of the game at the start of this second half.
Well, maybe they've nothing to lose, and that sort of attitude, that approach really has favoured them. They've played with the enthusiasm they've needed to match the English side.
Talking of Toulouse, rumour that they're in the running for a Super League place, maybe.
It'd be great to see French Rugby League develop. It's what we need, isn't it? We can't just think about ourselves here. We've got to support the French as much as we can and help them to get stronger.
Well, I tell you what, they've been doing their bit for international rugby of the French, because they're not only involved in this, they've played in Moscow in the Victory Cup, they've played in Lebanon in the Mediterranean Cup where they lost in the final.
When you think about it, the games against both Scotland and Ireland were competitive games. Admittedly, the English side a little too strong for them here today. It's important they play as often as they can to develop their own skills, and what skills they are.
Great work from Sébastien Azema, just short of that line. And now they change direction. Rinaldi, 4 tackles gone. Frésigneau, here's Rinaldi again. Bonke, ball out wide to Fabrice Estebanez. That's the 5th tackle. Needs a good kick. It's still with the French. It's back to 1. And eventually the word gets through.
To me, Andy Lynch kicked it. Andy Lynch
So this
kicked
is
it.
good pressure from the French. Here is Bonke, Veigafaar.
Good test here now for the English defence. Can they hold out? Repeated set near their own line.
Here's Julien Frésigneau, and now with Sébastien Azema. Azema going right across the field, looking for some support. 3 tackles gone. Abbas goes on his own, the winger.
Purdom does well, locks up the ball, prevents an offload. They're dangerous second phase play near your line.
Rinaldi. It's with Mark Faimana. 5 tackles. Rinaldi puts the kick in across the field. And Maguire does well to tidy up there for England. Under pressure there from Fabrice Estebanez.
It's amazing how quick Rinaldi there, how quick teams move up when they've got a chance of trapping you in the goal area. Just look at the French side there, they're sprinting forward now to try to force England backwards. Once you get past about 10 metres, they don't move up half as quickly. Good run there from Parker again. He's always a willing worker, he'll take it forward whenever maybe a lot of the other guys don't want to take the ball forward. Last tackle, they've contained the English side and having to kick from 15 metres out under a lot of pressure. Ball bounces up kindly now for Bonke. Eventually. Look at that chase.
Gets
fantastic effort there.
Exactly, I was going to say, he turned round and found himself confronted by 5 England players.
Lynch as well.
Sir, release!
All of a sudden now the English side, who've defended, if you think about it, for the last 3 or 4 minutes without much more to do, looking tired themselves, just like France did in the first half.
And here is Freddie Bonke, and Bonke, leisurely performer he is, but he can be very effective.
There were a couple of holes, he just needed his support players a bit closer up with him, rather than being the 5 metres behind him that they were, to take advantage of the gaps. Last tackle again.
Pascal Jean-Pi was the player tackled. Little crossfield kick, that's great work by the French. Oh, and it didn't quite come off, as it was Laurent Frésigneau who gathered that kick from his halfback Julien Rinaldi.
Well, it was very much an Andrew Johns banana kick, didn't it? But it didn't quite come off, went straight into his arms. The English side now counter-attack through Gardner.
And Gardner is up the sideline, and he's away. Bonke is coming across. He's got Calderwood in support, and Calderwood will complete a hat-trick for England A. and defence is turned into attack. Well, he's given the ball to Adrian Gardner. He'll get the try instead. His first of the game. Well, that was unselfish from Calderwood. He could have had a hat-trick there.
Well, this just going to show you again, we spoke about transition in the first half. They've been under the cosh, they've had to defend, and as soon as they get possession, they get the ball to Gardner. Fantastic speed on both wings here for England today, both Gardner and Calderwood. And Calderwood thinks, well, Eddie Gardner, you deserve this one. You did most of the work. You put the ball down for the 4 points. Just inside the touchline. I don't think the man marking the pitch was completely sober when he did that line. But anyway.
There was a party here last night, apparently, so...
It was straight enough.
Well, England can afford to be generous. Mark Calderwood displaying his generosity there. And Jamie Rooney on to take over the kicking duties and makes a successful start to that job. And England reach the half-century, 50 points to 6 they lead. Well, France had been hammering away at the England defence. And then the pace that is in this England side was their undoing. And there you go.
I think Steve-O did that, did he, this morning? Bit of a hangover, draining his sorrows after yesterday's disappointing defeat.
And still got something to smile about, the French commentary team. Louis Bonneray there. And he's a loyal follower of the French game. Rugby à 13. And a great winger for his country. And here, seeing their French side really being taken apart by this England youngsters 13.
Well, really, in this 18.5 minutes of the second half, the only difference between the two sides is the pace of the English side. When they've had a chance, their two wingers have been able to take it. When the opportunities have arisen for France, they've not really had the speed, that killer ruthless edge. Big hit there again by
Mark
Fumana.
Yeah, the Kiwi putting the hit in. He's the cousin of Sione Fumana, who plays for Auckland Warriors and has played for the Kiwis.
It's good here now for the English side, having to work hard to get away from their own try line. Some good, strong French, rugged defence.
Well, England really being made to work in the second half. And Sean, that's no bad thing, is it?
No, not at all. And I think we've just seen some fighting spirit from the French players. They've come out, they've tightened their defence up. They've got that in order. They've also completed the majority of their sets in the first 20 minutes of this half. And that's significant because that's something they didn't do in the first half of this game, and they were starved of possession. I think you'd have to say the first 20 minutes has probably been fairly even share. And therefore, they've got a little bit more fitness about themselves and a little bit more confidence about what they're doing. And I guess it shows also, Bill, the expectations on a side that's leading by 44 points to 6 at half time, how difficult that is just to go on with the job sometimes. I don't think England A have come out and played poorly in the first 20 minutes, but we've seen a marked improvement from the French team. But of course, the final piece of the jigsaw puzzle is to get over that try line, and they've done everything but do that. They've completed their sets, they've come up with a couple of good tactical kicks. They just haven't quite come up with that, perhaps that ounce of luck that you need to finish off some opportunities, and now maybe we'll see that before the game's out.
Weigefar manages to get that ball away to Julien Gérin. The Toulouse Spacers player off the bench for the French. Freddie Bonke now. Bonke looking for some support. Sadoui keeps it alive.
John Keir could send a message on, besides holding out the French side here now, is to try and lock up the ball, because the English side are having to do twice as much work as they like because of the number of French offloads.
Plenty of possession for France in this second half. They can't make...
Good tackle there by Aspinwall.
They just cannot find a way through this England defence at the moment. On the last, crossfield kick. Abbas will challenge for it, but Calderwood was solid as a rock underneath that one. The ball's gone backwards, though.
And Abbas stole it one-on-one with Calderwood. It's still play on.
It's with Julien Rinaldi. So another opportunity for the French. Fraisignou. It's with Pierre Sabatier. And England right on their own try line now. Pascal Jean-Pi, the captain, would love to get over here, but England aren't going to allow him. Another great opportunity for the French. Rinaldi, Bonquet, scooped up by Julien Gerard. 4 tackles gone.
Keep working.
They go down the short side. It's with Faimana, trying to use his strength. 5th tackle and a kick coming maybe. Fraser-New stabs one in, but Briscoe perfectly positioned.
That's brilliant play from the English side. You have to give them compliments. This time next year, some of the guys you see in the white jerseys could be playing for Great Britain in the Tri-Nations against either Australia or Great Britain, or New Zealand rather. And they'll have to defend the line with a great deal of pride, energy and effort. And they've just shown they can do that against the French side, who move the ball around, really, really desperate to get over for a try themselves. But England's defence was up to the job. And now they've cleared the line, and they're looking to have some attacking plays. Parker there now just to tip on. England trying to use some width through Maguire.
Just on halfway. Rooney. Delicate little kick in. Briscoe gets it on the half volley. The chasers are there, led by Calderwood. Now has Calderwood got there before he's got to the dead ball line? Oh yes, no need for a video ref to look at that one. And Calderwood gets his hat-trick. Well, again, the kick and the chase being the undoing of the French.
Well, it's difficult to defend against the kick in rugby league. It's even more difficult when they kick it against the way you're expecting the ball to go. The kick off the outside of the boot by Rooney, the toe through, and then the speed of Calderwood yet again. We talk about his speed. It's not only having that great speed, it's using it, knowing where to be and when to be there. And Mark Calderwood has that in rugby league, and that's the reason why he scores so many tries. Sits up again with the long grass in the in-goal area, and he's brave enough to pounce on it before he crashes into the sideboards.
Hat-trick against Russia in the last game in this European Nations tournament for Mark Calderwood. Another one today. And he just managed to beat Rob Burrow to that, because Burrow was on a hat-trick as well. He was chasing that ball. It was Calderwood who got there. And it's Danny Tickle with another conversion. And England's 56-6 ahead now.
Well, when the ball comes down, there are just more white jerseys in the pitch than there were blue ones. And they took advantage. Get more players than yours, you've got a better chance of getting the ball, and they did. Another good try. It's good passage of play there for England. I think that'll please Paul Cullen and John Keir. They had to defend their own line, they came away, and then instantly they thought, here's a chance to attack Bill, we're going to see what we can get, and they got the 6 points.
He's a fantastic try-scoring record as Mark Calderwood. 60 tries, as far as Super League goes, it is 60 tries in something like 90 appearances in 3 seasons of Super League. That is a great return for a winger. Some who suspect he's got his limitations defensively, but if you're looking for tries, then Calderwood's your man.
I think also if you're looking for a player who's got a willingness to listen, learn and improve, I think Mark Calderwood also has those attributes, and that's what you're going to have to do if you want to be one of the best players in the world in your position.
Big tackle from Pierre Sabatier on Ian Sibbett there. Purdham trying to get that ball out in the pass. It just went forward. He was struggling, the London Broncos player.
Well, some of the players expecting the kick. They've ran it. They ran the ball. The pass clearly goes forward. So again, compliment the French defence. They were up there. And with a scrum on the halfway line, we'll see what they can do here now in their turn to attack. Just 15 minutes or so left in this second half.
The French looking for a second try just to show something for their efforts, and it has been a much improved effort in this second half from the French side. John Weigefer just hands the ball to Freddie Bonquet there. And Bonquet trying to return the favour, but Sean Briscoe managed to clamp him. Fraser-New now.
He did well, Reardon, to get up quickly on Fraser-New, because there were 2 men outside him. They had a 3v2 and a penalty here, putting the hand between the ball. Gareth Hock a little frustrated or annoyed by the French attention.
And he'll get a talking to, or Gareth Hock. It was his challenge on Pascal Jeanpi.
Gareth, you put your hand between your legs and you've lifted it. You can't do that.
It was the hand between the legs that Carl Kirkpatrick objected to. So France have a penalty that pushes them deep into England territory. Now, can they do anything with this set of possession? The ball with Laurent Frézignou. Oh, and a hand in there from Adrian Gardner. Play on. The French appealing for a knock-on there.
Seems a tough call against the French side, but England will take it.
Beat!
Eddie Gardner's in there. There's a collision, but it mustn't come off his hands, and he picks it up quickly. And then we've seen in the past, he'll quickly go, look for some space, look for some opportunities and try and score. Counter-attack, Parker takes it up. So always prepared to do that. Burrow now in at the dummy half position. Diskin playing more of a back row role.
Maguire. Great balance from Maguire, and then the kick chase again, but Foucaud Abbas is across. He's being chased by Jamie Rooney, but Abbas gets away from him.
A lively player, Foucaud Abbas has come up with a handling error though, and Maguire's got it a one-on-one steal.
All that effort from Abbas, the Saint-Gaudin player, and it's England in possession, but that's good work from Pierre Sabatier. Very quickly up on Martin Aspinall. Now here goes Rob Parker, and the Bradford ball will plonk that ball down, and no doubt about that try.
Well, he deserves it for the work he's done today, Rob Parker. French side were in all sorts of trouble when they came up with that handling error by Abbas there. He lost it, the strength of the English defence. He did well to get back into the field of play, and I think it's Jamie Rooney who just flicks the ball out. Maguire eventually comes up, his tackle short of the try line. Just moments later on the back of that play, with England close to the French line, Rob Parker decides, hey, I've taken it forward so many times today, I'm going to do it near the try line, and he's too strong for all the French guys around him. Thoroughly deserved 4 points. The desire, the leg drive, he won't stop until he gets over that whitewash and puts the ball down.
He's had a busy month or so as Rob Parker in England A duty. He had a good season with the Bulls as well, was unlucky to miss out on the grand final, having played so many times for them in all 28 rounds of the Super League competition, in fact, in one way or another, either starting or normally from the bench. And Danny Tickle with the Warrington supporters on that terrace behind the posts at the scoreboard end, watching on, and a sight we won't see again on Sky Sports' famous stadium here, as England go into a 62-6 lead on this last major game here at Wilderspool. Gilles Dumas, Ivan Gresek alongside him know that they're up against a very strong England A side. Oh, that they had such riches of talent, but the French game, as Eddie was saying, just going through one of its lean patches. And Rob Parker, the latest try scorer for this England side.
Good skills there, wouldn't it? We're athletic boys see Gareth Hock drop the ball like that. He could be drafted into their squad.
But then he's lost it. And you put the mockers on him. And Gareth Hock has just said one thing too many, and Carl Kirkpatrick's taken exception to it. So it immediately gives France the opportunity. Yeah. Well, penalty for England. You remember what those are?
I do. That's you see sometimes when games are like this, Bill, that there is frustration creeps into players. I know you'd think, why would that be the case at 62 points to 6, but it can happen. Then.
Oh dear, and then the handling error from Julien Rinaldi. Well, Sean, England ending up with a convincing victory. They're going to be the European champions, and John Keir can be very, very proud of this young side, can't he?
Yeah, he's spent a lot of time with these young players, and he's put a lot of effort in, along with his coaching staff, including Paul Cullen, of course. And you know, these guys are considered to be future for Great Britain in terms of internationals. Of course, they're all household names in terms of Super League. All these guys play in the Super League competition, and you can see the difference when they're out playing as a group against the you know, the French side. They have just been far too quick and far too clever in terms of getting to field position and setting up plays and keeping their width and keeping their shape. They've played to a very good structure. I mean, as well as the French have played this half, Bill, let's not forget England A have actually scored 18 points to 0 so far, and there may be more points to come in the next 8 minutes. So it's been a very, very convincing victory, one that was perhaps expected, but maybe not by this sort of scoreline.
Average age of this England A side, just 21. Really is encouraging, isn't it? And it's the sort of encouragement you need after a night like last night.
Yeah, it is. I think the other plus to see is that the benefit that a lot of these players have had as Briscoe just tries to tip it through with a good play onto the French side, is that what's difficult to play for Great Britain at times is the fact you've played all season against players from other clubs and then you've got to meet with them, and in a very short space of time you've got to not only become not only their friends but successful teammates, know what their strengths and attributes are and how you can help them to play the best that they can play. By mixing here now, these guys are getting to know what little players they like. Danny Sculthorpe might be good for an offload. Diskin likes to run from dummy half, and you know they will learn over the future now how to complement one another should they play for Great Britain in the future.
It's France on the attack at the moment, and Freddie Bonke gets the ball back in field for Pierre Sabatier, but he is well tackled by Matt Diskin. Rashid Hashish drives the ball towards those England posts. It's a kick for France to chase, and they're offside, the French.
I'm not sure if Carl Kirkpatrick knew the French were offside then, do you?
Au jeu.
Oh, well, Bill, you need to be mic'd up to him to ref's call.
I remember Steve-O learning that one when we used to cover Paris Saint-Germain.
Well, when he shouted offside to the French side, I don't think any of them listened to him then, but it's probably understandable.
Sean Briscoe almost through a gap there. John Vargaffer shut the door.
Just thinking to myself then as Briscoe took it forward, he's been a pretty impressive performer this afternoon, but so one or two others. Maguire and Burrow have looked good. Tickles look strong as he goes through the gap.
He has support from Ian Sibbett, and the Warrington supporters urging Sibbett on, but he couldn't get through the defence there. Purdham, lovely little kick. It could be number 4 for Calderwood. It is. 4th try of the game for Mark Calderwood, and courtesy of another lovely England kick, this time from the Cumbrian in their ranks, Rob Purdham.
Well, I just went through a few players who I thought had been impressive today, but in my opinion, the best player for the English side has been Mark Calderwood. He's shown not only has he got great speed, but much like Martin Offiah, he knows where to be and when to be there. I've said it before, just stays on side, takes the kick and takes the try. And he really, really has had an impressive afternoon here at Warrington. That fast stand that you see over there is called the Brian Bevan stand, who was an all-time wonderful winger here at Rugby League. And Mark Calderwood's done a pretty good job on playing in front of his stand this afternoon for the last ever time.
Big rap that is.
Here, Dan.
I think even Brian Bevan would have been proud the way he's played.
He would have loved some of these chances.
Impressive goal-kicking record there for Danny Tickle this afternoon. 8 from 10. Tough one to make it 9.
And a lot of them have been nice and set up in front of the post, haven't they? This one, although he has kicked one from out wide like this. Impressive skyline as well here at Wilderspool. The sun's setting. And Danny Tickle kicking into it. Just kicking into the wind as well, and another excellent kick from the Wigan player. And England 68 points to 6 ahead. Shortly to lift the European Championship trophy.
Well, the scoreline looks worse for the French side because of the success of his kicking today. Wonderful, wonderful record that, 9 from 11.
There's the try scorer, Mark Calderwood.
One. Ici, attends, pas de penalty.
Briscoe, and Sculthorpe just shrugs aside the French defence there.
Ici, vite.
And the captain, Sean O'Loughlin. Here's Danny Tickle. Just 3 minutes to go then. And England will reclaim the European Championship. And Gardner puts the crossfield kick in. And it's picked up by Olivier Pramil.
Well, you can't question the French effort. It's been fantastic throughout the 80 minutes.
No penalties.
But they've been completely outgunned. And it's been a successful campaign, hasn't it, for the English squad?
Certainly has, getting on for 200 points scored in this European Championship. The Scots had scored 5 more points against France last weekend in Narbonne, then would have been Ireland here today. That might have been a very different proposition for this England side. Some fired up opponents from Super League and from the National League competition, but as it was the French who just managed to scrape through on points difference.
Well, could be the last attacking chance here for England now to get a final try.
Ici.
They want to use the width.
Come on, Scully, don't get
Go
involved.
through hands.
Get away, Scully.
Good run there by Purdom, who really hit that hole well. Now the French defenders have to go back, do that extra work. There was chances, maybe 3v2 on the far side. They've come back here through O'Loughlin. Oh,
well, that was neat.
the quickest run around ever, wasn't it? Ricocheted off Sibbett back into his arms. And they've been penalised for obstruction. So it is France who will have the final chance to attack. And they get their first try of the second half to complement the one they had in the first.
Hashish up to the 40-metre line in the England half. Rinaldi, Bonke, Sebastian Azema.
Come on. Finish the set.
Foucaud Abbas. Vaigafar. 3 tackles gone. Laurent Freysignou, and now it's with Pierre Sabatier. Freysignou, Olivier Pramil. Pramil looking for some support. He's got it from Pierre Sabatier.
Come on, Jomo.
On the last. Rinaldi. France keeping it alive, and Freddie Bonke puts a crossfield kick in. And it's knocked on there. The ball's still alive. And Fabrice Estebanez chases it, but that is the final whistle. And England have rounded off their season and this European Championship with an emphatic victory. A bit of a pick-me-up after the Ashes disappointment, just what we needed.